You're already at the final screen. The ticket is selected, your card details are entered, and in your head the purchase is basically over. The final button feels like a formality, not a new negotiation. Then $19 becomes $27. The extra $8 appeared after you chose the date, compared the seats, created an account, found your wallet, and pictured yourself at the event. At $19, you are deciding whether to buy. At $27, you are deciding whether to undo everything you just did. Those sound like the same decision. They are not. Economists call this drip pricing. Designers call the last screen checkout. You probably call it something else. Today, we're looking at why the complete price can appear only after you have mentally crossed the finish line, and why showing it earlier changes more than the number on the screen. Drip pricing has a simple definition. A seller advertises only part of a product's price, then reveals additional components as the customer moves through the buying process. The important word is moves. The price is divided across time. Partitioned pricing is closely related, but the components are presented together, often without one prominent aggregated total. $50 plus a $10 mandatory fee may be visible on the same screen. Yet the larger base number can still dominate how the offer feels. Experiments on partitioned prices have found lower recall of the total, even when the components were visible. Neither practice should be confused with a genuinely optional extra. Like an upgrade, you can freely decline. A separate line item can be useful. The problem begins when the headline price leaves out an unavoidable charge, or when the pieces are arranged so the complete price is harder to grasp. The arithmetic is not difficult. Attention, timing, and effort are doing the work. See $27 on the first page and you can compare it with another ticket or leave. Total effort, 10 seconds and one disappointed eyebrow. Now imagine reaching $27 after 6 screens. You have invested time, perhaps created an account, chosen a section, and started anticipating the event. None of that forces you to continue. People do abandon checkout. But research suggests an initial choice can become sticky. That is broader than a single sunk cost label. Several frictions can reinforce one another. Restarting may feel costly. We may justify the selection we already made, and we may assume another seller will add similar fees anyway. The first advertised number also becomes a reference point. Later charges are judged against a $19 ticket you thought you were buying, not against a fresh $27 offer. The base price gets the spotlight. The complete price arrives during the credits. The practical question has shifted from, would I choose this at $27 to, do I want to start all over? Late price components do not affect only one purchase. They interfere with comparison shopping. Suppose 3 sellers advertise the same kind of ticket for $19, $23, and $25. 19 wins the click, but its final total is 27. One of the other offers may have been cheaper. A seller with the lowest looking headline can win attention, while a more transparent competitor looks expensive. To discover the better deal, you would need to advance through each checkout, record every total, and then return to the best one. This is technically possible. So is preparing your taxes with a crayon. A large, randomized field experiment on StubHub made this effect unusually visible. Millions of United States users were assigned either all-inclusive prices or buyer fees shown only near checkout. In that one ticket marketplace experiment, the back-end fee group was about 14% more likely to complete a purchase and spent about 21% more. Those figures are not a universal law for every industry. They are strong evidence that the way a price is revealed can change what people compare, choose, and spend. The choreography appears in several familiar places. A ticket platform can lead with the seat price and reveal mandatory service charges later. A hotel listing can look competitive until a required resort or destination fee joins the bill. Similar price layering can appear in food delivery, where service, delivery, small order charges, tax, and an optional tip may surround the same meal. These examples are not legally identical, and the federal rule we are about to discuss does not cover delivery orders. They can fall under different laws and sector-specific rules. Taxes may depend on location. Delivery charges may depend on distance. Tips and upgrades can be optional. Some fees also pay for real costs. The question is not whether every separate charge is imaginary. It is whether an unavoidable, predictable charge was missing from the number used for comparison. If an add-on is genuinely optional, separating it can help customers choose. If the transaction cannot happen without it, the visible starting price may not be the payable price. This is why transparency rules focus on when a total appears, rather than simply banning every fee. In the United States, the Federal Trade Commission's rule on unfair or deceptive fees took effect on May 12, 2025. Its federal upfront total requirement is specifically limited to live event tickets and short-term lodging. It is not a rule for every checkout in the economy. It covers businesses that offer, display, or advertise those products, including ticket resellers and third-party lodging platforms. In those two categories, when a business advertises a price, it must lead with the total including mandatory fees it knows about and can calculate upfront. That total must be more prominent than other pricing information. Government charges, shipping, and genuinely optional goods or services may be excluded from the first total, but excluded charges and the final payment amount must be disclosed before the customer agrees to pay. Pre-selected charges are not automatically optional merely because an interface labels them that way. The rule does not cap fees, ban itemization, or prohibit dynamic pricing. It changes the order and prominence of information, and it has been enforced. In April 2026, a federal court entered a stipulated order in the FTC StubHub case requiring $10 million for monetary relief after charges over upfront ticket price disclosure were settled. Transparency is not a discount, it is an honest starting line. Rules help, but the useful skill is recognizing when your decision has been reframed. When a new charge appears, pause and treat the final total as a new offer. That reset matters because the relevant choice is not the fee alone, it is the entire purchase at the new total. Forget the first number for 5 seconds. Ask 3 questions. What is the amount I must pay to receive the thing? Which additions are genuinely optional? Would I choose this product if the final total had been shown at the beginning? For larger purchases, compare final totals, not search result prices. If a site offers an all-in price filter, use it. And before you begin, consider setting a walkaway number. A limit chosen before the checkout journey is less vulnerable to the effort already invested. This does not turn shopping into a courtroom drama. It restores the decision you intended to make, product versus total price. Do not ask whether the added fee is small enough to tolerate. Ask whether the complete offer is still good. Your card has no feelings. It will recover. So when $19 becomes $27 at the final screen, the price may not have changed at all. What changed was your access to the complete price. The first number attracted the comparison. The later number inherited the attention, effort, and anticipation already invested in the choice. That is the design hidden inside the fee. A complete price may still be high, but at least it can compete honestly. The fair question is not whether businesses may charge for what they provide. Of course they may. The question is whether customers can see the unavoidable price while they are still choosing, because the best time to learn what something costs is before you decide to buy it, not after the website has already started celebrating. This is designed to spend. Your wallet has a user interface